Third meeting of the Standing Committee on Education will come to order. Please call the roll.
Senator Carroll. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Givens. Senator Higdon. Senator Meredith. Senator Neal. Senator Stivers. Senator Thomas.
Here.
Senator Tishner. Senator Wilson.
Here.
Senator Wise.
Here.
Vice Chair Williams.
Here.
Chair West.
Here. We are duly constituted to conduct business. We'll go through our normal announcements. Please silence your cell phones. If you wish to speak in the committee, you need to sign up on the sign-up sheet at the back before you can speak. We'll collect the sign-up sheet later. At this time, we'll go into introduction of special guests. Senator Thomas, you're up first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I have two sets of special guests that I'd like to introduce this morning. First of all, I have a group of fine young men and one young lady from the Martin Luther King Junior Academy from Lexington, and their teachers, Mr. Devin. I pronounce your last name for me again. Arthur Faithful. Could you please have them stand? All the students from Martin Luther King Junior Academy in Lexington, please stand. And secondly, Mr. Chair, but certainly not least, I have my granddaughter here with me this morning, Miss Rosalind Thomas. She is shadowing her grandfather here today, so I'm excited about having her here. And this is Rosalind seated next to me. So. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You are welcome. Welcome to the Education Committee. Up next, we have Senator Meredith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the Meade County Green Wave has hit Frankfort once again. And as I mentioned last meeting, Superintendent Mark Martin has decided that he's going to send groups up here every week we're in session to learn about the legislative process, and certainly welcome to have them here. Front row and center here from the Stuart Pepper Middle School. Appreciate if you welcome them to the committee.
Please stand to be recognized. Welcome to Education Committee. Senator Funky Fromeyer.
Yes, I have a community leader from Campbell County School District here today, Courtney Sauerbach. And I just wanted to say Courtney has such an influence from preschool all the way through to the college years. She has been a principal. She's now a district leader and just a stand-up citizen of Campbell County. Courtney, welcome.
Please stand to be recognized. Yes, I'm last on our list here, so I have an introduction of a special guest. And in case anyone didn't notice, we started about 5 minutes late. Senator McDaniel runs Appropriations and Revenue. He was in the military and always starts on time. But this is Education Committee. It's a little bit different in here. But I have a valid excuse today. I had special guests in my office this morning. I had Superintendent Liggins from Fayette County in the office this morning, and I also had Superintendent Polio from Jefferson County in the office, and we ran over a little bit talking about JCPS, but if you could stand, Marty, and we'll make you feel welcome. Is he here? He had to step out. He's talking about education somewhere. We'll get right into our meeting. We have a light agenda. We have one bill on the docket. Senator Deneen, if you want to come forward and prepare to present. As you're getting seated, Senator Deneen, there is a committee substitute. Do you want us to adopt a committee substitute?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adopt a committee substitute? We have a motion and a second. This is a voice vote. All those in favor of the sub say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Senate Bill 18 with committee sub adopted is before us today. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee members, for hearing this bill. We'll give you just a brief background of how this bill came about. at the end of last session, with just a few days left in the session, I was contacted by a school district that had some concerns. They had recently purchased some bus tires, and within weeks, an inspector came from KDE, and they were forced to replace those tires, costing that district $20,000. And at first I thought, well, that's probably a good thing. As a former elementary principal and middle school administrator, I have the utmost respect and a duty to carry out the very safety of the transportation of our children, and that is up and foremost. But what I discovered was a second district had called and expressed the same concern, it costing them $16,000 to replace some tires. The issue, as I dug in, was an issue in policy and clarity. That's what was causing this. There was no alignment between what was tires that were on the bid list and the tires that were on the spec list. When that happens, we have, of course, in education, we see new faces in new positions all the time. And in the last year, we've seen 50 new faces in our transportation directors. And so sometimes when you have that turnover, they may not be as comfortable with purchasing of tires. The current policy had tires that met the spec list, but yet weren't included on the spec list because of the brand they represented. We all know that when we have more competition, that lowers the price of the product. The bill itself simply provides clarity in aligning the spec list for bus tires and the bid list to avoid wasteful spending in a time where every dollar counts in public education. We cannot afford to allow our own policies and sometimes the clarity of our policies to lead to these excessive expenses on our districts. So this bill provides KDE the clarity it needs to align its bid list and its spec list to avoid wasteful spending throughout the state. And as I dug deeper, this did not only happen in 2 districts, but this happened in multiple districts. And my fear is that if this was to happen in a Jefferson County or a Fayette County where they have many buses, their wasteful spending could have been extremely costly, much more than the 2 small districts I spoke to. So this bill simply provides clarity.
Thank you, Senator. Before we get into questions, I think we're going to have a few. You might just briefly explain the sub.
Yes, sir.
Your initial thoughts in the bill, and then the sub.
Yes, sir.
Removing the language on reimbursements.
When I first dug into this, it was 2 districts, and so that amount of money was a fairly low number. At this point now, with multiple districts involved, and that number is still yet to be determined and unknown, I did not feel like at this time that line in there for reimbursements was appropriate without having the exact data needed to reimburse all of them or the exact number of districts affected by this. So that is why the reimbursement clause was removed. The whole heart and soul of this bill is to stop this from going forward and end wasteful spending in this area and to ensure that this doesn't go any further.
Thank you so much. Senator Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Senator, was this a case of where they were buying like one particular brand of tire?
Actually,
they were required to do that?
Actually, there were about 4 brands. If I'm not mistaken, there were 4 brands that, and I think where the the confusion happened is when we have new bus manufacturers that come into play when we purchase new buses. The bus manufacturer themselves may have a list of tires that they would recommend for that particular bus. But as we know, and if you're in the school business, you know that you don't have a whole garage full of new buses. So there are other buses there that have different weights and different sizes. But nevertheless, the tires purchased did meet the specs. They just didn't meet the brand. And so we just don't want anybody to be discriminated against in those realms, especially without data that shows that these tires have any kind of track record of being unsafe.
And just one final question to you. With these just being able to go by the specs, will the wheels on the bus still go round and round?
Well, yes, sir. That is the intent of this bill, and to do so at the best price possible and with the utmost concern for safety of our students in mind.
Thank you.
I didn't know if we could make it through the committee without that reference, but we didn't make it. Senator Thomas has a question.
Thank you. Senator Deneen.
Yes, sir.
Senator Deneen, have you heard from KDE about this bill?
Yes.
Have they indicated any kind of hesitation?
No, sir.
Or reluctance about this bill?
No, sir.
Okay.
I spoke with KD on multiple occasions at the first onset of investigating it and after the bill was known to be coming to committee, and there's been no resistance on that. They understand the clarity and its importance.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Senator Carroll.
I have to ask, the choice not to buy a particular brand, was that just a personal choice, or was it the origin of the manufacturer, or?
I was not provided with any clarity as I investigated
Because
that.
there's one brand of tire that I'll buy because of experience tells
Sure.
me that's a better tire and it's a safer tire.
Sure.
So,
I have no one's given me any clarity on that when I probed in that direction.
Okay.
And of course, we don't want some tires on our school buses that protect our most precious assets, our children, that has some kind of track record of being unsafe. But a major brand was not included in the spec list, but it was on the bid list, and so it just provides our transportation director some clarity.
good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we have a recognized motion on the bill from Senator Meredith. We have a second from Senator Carroll. Senator Deneen, do you have any further comment?
No, sir.
Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Senator Carroll,
Aye.
Senator Funke Fromeyer,
Aye.
Senator Givens, Senator Higdon, Senator Meredith, Senator Neal, Senator Stivers, Senator Thomas, Senator Tishner,
Aye.
Senator Williams,
Aye.
Senator Wilson, Senator Wise, Chair West.
Aye. Senate Bill 18 passes with favorable expression. Congratulations, Senator.
Thank you.
Have a good day. That is the only bill on the agenda. There are no other bills to come before the committee. Do we have any further business or questions, members? Motion for adjournment. Second. This committee's adjourned.